Previously on Pretty Little Liars Original Sin.
Hi guys, it's
Lauren Daisy.
Welcome back to my channel, and to be honest with you, I was not planning on filming today. I don't know if you can tell. I don't have any makeup on. I got my cute little cinnamon roll shirt that my best friend Miranda bought me. But yeah, I was not planning on filming today, so I'm not ready for it. But the trailer for Pretty Little Liars Original Sin, well, Pretty Little Liars Summer School now, season 2 of Original Sin, I guess, however you want to word it, just came out. So we're gonna sit and react to it together. I felt like, because I did see some people asking me on my previous Original Sin video, if you want to go and watch that, I at the end of last year compiled basically everything that we knew about the new series and like the new actors and everything. So you can go and watch that. But there were some people commenting on that, like, oh, you should update this video, like, with the new stuff. But I just felt like there wasn't enough to, like, provide you guys with an update video. So since we're making this video today where we react to the trailer, I am also going to include some of the updates because, yeah, like I said, there aren't that many. But we're still, we're still just gonna have a little chit chat about them anyway. So the first kind of update that we got was an actual release schedule for all the episodes. So the series is going to be premiering on May 9th, which is super exciting, super close now. I did a poll over on my community tab to see if you guys would want to kind of like recap of season 1 before we go into season 2, and you guys said yes. So I'm really hoping to get that filmed and up in time for May 9th. So yes, May 9th is going to be the series premiere, and we're actually getting 2 episodes on that day. The first episode is called Loose Ends, and the second episode is called Summer Lovin'. And then the next week, May 16th, we'll get Sweet 16. Then May 23rd, we'll get When a Stranger Calls Back. May 30th, we'll get Friday the 13th. June 6th, we'll get Hell House. June 13th, we'll get The Boogeyman. And then June 20th, the kind of second series finale, we're going to get The Final Exam. Really fun. I really like that it is, like, really that, like, summer vibe. I mean, obviously it's, like, horror, but there's a lot of, like, from what I've seen from the kind of promo pictures, it's, like, lifeguards and pools and like proper like summer school vibes, which is really fun. I feel like a lot of times, at least in the teen shows that I watch, obviously not 90210 because it's set in LA and it's always sunny there, so they're always at the beach, but like Gossip Girl, they tend to kind of skip over the summer and then come back in like the fall time. So we only see like a couple episodes of them like in the Hamptons and stuff. Same with Pretty Little Liars, like they don't have any like beachy episodes or like vacation ones. Like they're pretty much always at school except for when we go to the time jump. So I think this is a really fun dynamic to play into like summer school and vacation, and that I just think that'll be it. It'll be like a little fun kind of setting that we've not really seen before, especially in a horror sense as well. I think that's going to be really like a fun kind of juxtaposition between the like fun and excitement of like summer and the happy vibes compared to like the horror that's going on around at this time. I just think that's kind of fun because last series was like in school time, but it was also very like kind of gloomy, like the weather was darker, like the whole tone of it was really dark, which like really matched that proper like horror element that they were going for. But I think it's gonna be fun this time to kind of see how they counteract that with like the summertime vibe. And we also did get to see a proper like picture of our new killer, Bloody Rose. So this is interesting because in Pretty Little Liars, they never, like, A was so anonymous. Aside from like the clues they gave you, you could never tell just based on physically seeing A if they were, male, female, kind of how tall they were, like anything. You just couldn't really tell because they've never really like stood next to anybody. It was always just like the little end clips and it could really just be anybody. Whereas this time with the A from season 1, when we had like Archie, like that was obviously like this huge dude, so it was like, who is this? And then we had the kind of mastermind behind it, and this time we're being shown straight away that the killer is female, which I think is really exciting. I love to see I support women's rights, I support women's wrongs, so I love to see horror with killers that are women, because I feel like you don't see it that often. Like Jennifer's Body, I really love for that element. And I also really loved Psycho 2, which I think is kind of an unpopular opinion, because obviously if you've seen like, oh, not Psycho 2, American Psycho 2, because if you've seen the original like American Psycho, it's cult classic. American Psycho 2 is nothing like it. But it stars Mila Kunis, and I just love that. I just feel like that's really fun. And yeah, we don't see like a lot of horror films where a female lead is the focus in a villain sense rather than like a final girl sense. So even though that kind of like, I don't know, I feel like there's two camps. Let me know which one you fall in the comments. Like, some people are like, no, like I don't want to know who it is at all. I don't want any kind of clues. I want to like figure it out on my own as the story progresses. And then some people are like happy to kind of see the killer kind of straight away, I suppose. I fall into that second camp. I think because Pretty Little Liars did that like full anonymity thing, it's fun now with this spin-off to do something completely different and like kind of show the killers from the jump. I thought that was really fun with Archie, that there was no real like suspense around that. We just got to see the horror like straight up and see intense scenes where they actually interact, as opposed to A, that was always kind of like in the distance. So, and I think that works better for the horror element as well, whereas Pretty Little Liars was more of like a drama, you know, like thriller kind of vibe. But for the like more intense horror that they're going for with this spin-off, I think actually being able to see the killer a lot more, see them actually, you know, physically interact with our main characters is what I've been really loving. So I'm absolutely fine with like seeing the killer. I think she looks really, really cool, really spooky. So I'm really interested in it. So those are kind of like the two main updates, because like I said, all the additional like the new cast and everything, I mentioned all of that in my previous video, so you can go and watch that. But now we're actually just gonna get straight into watching the trailer. So I have not seen anything. I have tried, like I've avoided it all day basically, because I think it came out this morning, like for UK time, I don't even know. But it is out, and yeah, I've managed to avoid it. I do like follow accounts and stuff on Instagram, but yeah, luckily I haven't seen any clips, I haven't seen any like screenshots of the trailer, so I'm going in completely blind, aside from obviously like what I know from the previous video I did. So guys, I'm actually so excited. Okay, you ready? I can't believe, like, you guys have already seen it. I'm here to help. Oh, it's Dr. Sullivan. That's my good sis Sullivan right there. Okay, so we're seeing that kind of like PTSD element, kind of like how when the girls came back in season 3. You know what? Actually, that first season 3 episode, it happened one night, of Pretty Little Liars, the original. It's probably the closest we get to like a summer themed episode, because they're all like, you know, they wear their bathing suits and they're just about to start school again and it's all like sunny. I feel like that specific episode is kind of like the tone of this whole season, which is really fun. But in that episode, or was it the episode after that? Oh, I can't remember. But Aria has like a panic attack in the school bathroom, and she kind of thinks that she sees A, and they're all kind of trying to cope with this new like normal of not having A, which obviously we know isn't true. But yeah, we're kind of seeing those same themes here again with these girls, like kind of, you know, trying to cope with this really horrific thing that's happened to them. Also, the outfits I love. I think I said this in every single video that I made about Pretty Little Lies Original Sin, but I loved everything about the look. I loved the sets, I loved the clothes. Also, I'm getting over like a really bad cold that I got when I was in Philadelphia and New York. So if my voice sounds weird, I really apologize for that. But yeah, like I'm loving this, and I love that we got to see like their wintry aesthetic, like all their like coats and their like cozy sweaters and stuff. And now this time around we're getting to see that aesthetic but in like summer fashion. So yeah, everyone looks great, everyone looks stunning. Summer School of Fate worse than Deb. I love this, okay, because they're actually addressing like the realities of the fact that they like were kind of not performing well in school because they had so much going on outside of school, whereas in Pretty Little Liars, these girls hardly ever went to school, or if they did go to school, they were never doing their homework. Like they were always out on the A hunt. So for them to each of them all, well, Alison doesn't go to like college, but she does obviously end up being a teacher. For all four of them to get accepted into college is wild. It's actually insane for like the lack of schoolwork that they did, and they just kind of are like, oh, with everything you've been through, like, yeah, they get through, and never really explained it. Whereas I like that they're actually addressing, you didn't do a lot of schoolwork, so you have to do summer school to progress to, I think he said junior year. I also love this like fun element of each of the girls having like a kind of like after school job or hobby or something, because here's another like I always intend for these videos to be short, and then I just love a little rant. One of the things with Pretty Little Liars that started to kind of bother me, and it's similarly to Gossip Girl as well, Serena Vanderwoods and Aria Montgomery, I'm looking at you, because their storylines just solely centered around their relationships. Like Aria's storyline and story arc is her relationship with Ezra, and then, you know, Hannah and Caleb, and like there's a very big focus on relationships in Pretty Little Liars, which makes sense because, you know, that was kind of the real driving force for why teens were watching these shows and why they were like invested in them, and what they were tweeting about and everything was the theories, but also how invested they were in their like ships that they liked. And so that kind of takes over the show in a lot of ways, and I think really, especially when we got to the end, season 7, influenced the story far more than the actual plot, if that makes sense. Like Aria and Ezra having to end up together, and, you know, their wedding and all this big stuff to kind of like do that whole fan service and kind of pander to the people that were so invested in the ships. I feel like the actual story and the true like Pretty Little Liars of it all got lost in amongst all of that relationship stuff. And I'm, you know, I love all that stuff. Like I love the relationship drama, like gimme, but we need other stuff to balance it out. And I just love that this spin-off, we do have romances, like Mouse and Ash. I adore them. I absolutely adore them. Like if I was ranking every Pretty Little Liars ship, like as in the whole PLL cinematic universe, they would be in my top 5 probably, because I just think they are so freaking sweet. And I loved them. And, you know, you have some like other like little flirty things going on. Farron has her boyfriend, and it's kind of like a Kelly or Karen, which one's the one that's still alive? I could never remember. And her boyfriend, like, is that gonna be more of a thing? Like, so you do have that like relationship element, which is fun. And I know they are introducing some more love interests in this season, which I'm looking forward to. But we never stray. Do you know what I mean? You know that TikTok audio that's like, what is it like? What happened to the original plot of the movie? That's Pretty Little Lies. This, we know the original plot of the movie and we're sticking to it, and I love that. So I love that we're getting like things that actually progress these characters and that are individual to them. Like, I think the issue with Pretty Little Liars is the girls outside of A. Like, if you take them outside of A and outside of their relationships, what do you really know about them? Hannah likes fashion. Aria likes photography. She's a vegetarian. Spencer is very like brainy. I mean, if you watch the deleted scenes, you could kind of guess that she's into interior design. Emily likes to swim, like she's the athletic one, but we don't see them like having their own jobs like until very much like later. And I think it would have been nice to flesh them out as individuals a bit more, like outside of the group. So I really like that this show is taking that approach of when we meet them, they don't know each other. Like, I mean, they know of each other, but they're not friends. Whereas like Pretty Little Liars, they were like a core friend group. That's where we started. Whereas I like that their friendship group, we've seen it grow and we've seen them grow together and, you know, like form these bonds, but also we know them all very much individually. And there's a good focus on them outside of this group and who these characters are and what drives them and what motivates them and what their dreams and their goals and their hobbies are. So I like that they're carrying that on in this second season with giving them each something outside of the A plot. So I think like, oh my gosh, what's her name? I just want to call her Bailey Madison, but that's not her name. Oh my gosh. This poor girl, I forgot her name. The character that Ben Madison plays, it's been so long since I watched this show. Like, it's literally been like 2 years since it came out. Now that we're getting season 2 because of obviously like the writer's strike and everything. But anyway, she, I think, works at a diner. Tabitha obviously is still working at the movie theatre, I think. Farron, you know, she had her ballet stuff, but she's also going to be like a lifeguard this year with Chad or Brad or whatever his name is. And Mouse has like this kind of online forum thing that she's really getting invested in. And then Noah has this new character that's coming in, and like I just think that's really fun that they're really developing them outside of the group but also as a group, and it's just the perfect balance, I think, of both. That was a whole tangent, so sorry. Back to the trailer. Like I said, I love the aesthetic. Like, this diner is so freaking cute. Like, oh my god, I just love it. I love everything about this show. This show makes me so excited. Like, it makes me, I wouldn't say it makes me feel on that same level that Pretty Little Liars made me feel when I would watch it every week, because I was like, oh, that's my bread and butter. Like, I love that bitch. Ride or die. But this is close. Like, I have not been invested in a show like this probably like since then. Like, I watched like Chicago Fire. I love Chicago Fire. Law and Order, like SVU. Grey's Anatomy, kind of. I'm kind of like in and out with that. But I don't watch a lot of shows that are like currently on, to be perfectly honest with you. I love to rewatch my old shows. I love shows from the 2000s. Like, if I'm going to watch a new show, it's probably going to be an old show that I just haven't seen yet. Like, I want to watch Buffy and I want to watch Vampire Diaries and Gilmore Girls and The OC and, you know, things like that. Like, because I just love shows from that time because they just have such a specific way about them. You know, we get longer seasons, we get more episodes, we get like lots more seasons, and you just, I don't know, they just have a je ne sais quoi about them that the shows today don't have. That being said, this gives me that, and I love them for it. I just wish the seasons were longer. Oh, cute. Okay, so we've got oh my gosh, what is her name? Imogen. That's it. Okay, so Imogen has like this new love interest who's a guy that she works with at the diner. They're like cute. I'm excited to see that because obviously she really struggled last season being pregnant like by force with Chip, and she actually, you know, was kind of liking him and wanted to date him, and then to find out that he was the one that attacked her, like, she must just feel so vulnerable and like scarred from that. And she obviously had, you know, her parents were divorced, you know, when she was growing up, so I think she doesn't really have a kind of solid relationship to look to, or one that she's really experienced. So I think it'd be interesting to see how she approaches this. I think his name's Johnny. And if she's kind of reserved with that, and like just to see someone like love her. I want that for her so bad. Also, the acting in this is 10 out of 10. The acting in this is so good. All 5 of the main girls are absolutely incredible. Bailey, Zaria, Chandler, Malia, and Maya. Honestly, their acting is 10 out of 10. These girls are not only gorgeous, but they are so, so talented. I am so invested in all of their characters. And that's crazy. Like, to be invested in every single one of them, that hardly ever happens to me anymore. Like, when I watch TV shows, I have a few characters that I'm really invested in, like Chicago Fire, Brett, Severide, Stella. Like, I'm really invested in them. Like Ritter and stuff. Like, but there are characters I'm not so invested in. Same with like Grays. Like, there are characters I'm really invested in and characters I don't really care about. But this, I love them all. I'm invested in all of them. I absolutely love Ash as well. I think his actor is extremely, extremely talented. And just, I think this show does such a great job of like diversity and representation and different topics. And I can't express to you how much I love this show. If you haven't watched season 1, go and watch season 1, or like wait for my recap video and then watch season 2. But I want this show to get renewed so, so badly. Like, please watch it. Please show it love, because it deserves it. Like, it is genuinely good TV. It's good TV. Tabitha also has a new love interest, Christian. I talked about him in my previous video as well. And again, I think that's really cute. I really want Tabby to have, again, just someone that is nice and kind with everything that she went through. And I just hope he's not evil. I hope one of them isn't evil again, because my girls, Imogen and Tabby, like, obviously all the girls went through it. Imogen and Tabby, like, everything they went through with Chip, like, I beg, both of these boys are just pure and wholesome vibes. Because I cannot take that again. My poor girlies. Oh my gosh, and them on their motorbikes. Oh my god. That's like scene of all of them like by the pool in their like cute little bathing suits. Oh, I love it. Mouse's hair in this scene. Her and Ash. By the way, I'm going to do a recap. But I also did videos like every 2 episodes, I think it was. Like talking about those episodes. So you can go and watch those if you do want to see like me talking about those episodes. I already have those up. It'll just be that I'm going to compile all of that into like one recap video, but I do have loads of videos already about Original Sin. And in those, I wasn't super invested in Farron and her boyfriend. I don't know what it was about him. He just didn't grab me. You know what I mean? He just, like, the other ones, I felt like they had real personality and depth, and maybe we just hadn't seen enough of him yet. So I wonder if they're going to like build into that more this season, or maybe if they're gonna swap him out. I don't know. But yeah, Tabby, super excited. Her guy Christian seems super cute. Imogen and this guy Johnny, they look 10 out of 10. They posted a picture of them on Instagram and it's just everything. Obviously, like I said, Mouse and Ash, my babies. I hope they never break them up. I will be heartbroken if anything happens to them this season, if they even have an argument or a like wobble. Oof, that's gonna bring me to tears, because I love them. I want them to be together till the end. Yeah, Farron and her boyfriend, not too fast. Noah and Alex, or is that the guy's name in real life? I think that might be the guy's name in real life. I really liked. But I did say that I thought maybe in season 2 they would be on the rocks a bit, and she's obviously having this new love interest come in, so that's gonna be a fun kind of dynamic. The only thing, I do have one criticism. Okay, and I love you guys, but I have one criticism. I love that we're getting bisexual representation, fellow bi girly over here, so I love that we're seeing that, but, and like I saw that for Noah, my gaydar was all over that gal. When I was watching season 1, I was like, okay, I see where we're going here. And I thought that in season 2, if she did kind of like have a new love interest, it might be a girl, which is great. Love that. Here's the little issue that I have though. I think there is already a very negative stereotype around bisexuals, that they kind of have the whole dating pool because they like both, and that kind of, well, they like all genders, and that kind of makes them more susceptible to cheating and, you know, being like kind of not really very committal, and like stepping out on their partners and stuff, and not really, you know, being like confused and not knowing what they want. Like, you know, that kind of whole thing of like, oh, no one's really bisexual, like you're one or the other, like all that bullshit, do you know what I mean? And I think, unfortunately, this kind of plays into that a little bit, which is frustrating. That it kind of seems like Noah, to be fair, we haven't even seen Alex in this trailer yet, so maybe she's already broken up with him, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think she's probably going to become more involved with this girl while she is still seeing him, which again, I think kind of plays into that stereotypical bisexual like portrayal, which I'm not a huge fan of. But yeah, I like that we've got a bisexual character. Not crazy about how they've gone about it, but yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. These guys are so freaking cute. Look at their little summer outfits. Oh, okay, so they're fully saying like this is Rose Waters, like the mum. That's interesting to me because when you see the pictures, she doesn't look that old. And like Rose at this point, I guess would have been old. Like she would have been ready to collect her pension. So, and she escaped from like Radley, like so, or like was moved or something, I can't remember. So I think she'll be quite a bit older now. So yeah, I don't think it's her. I think, and I think maybe I said this in my season 2 predictions. I can't remember. I think maybe Angela's still alive. Even though they found that body, but I don't think they confirmed that was her. Or did they? Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to go back over my notes. But if they didn't confirm it was her, what if that was Rose, right? The like burned body, and then Angela, I'm just spitballing here, so it might not make any sense. And Angela is actually Bloody Rose trying to like avenge her whole family. I feel like that could be interesting. Who else could it be? Unless they are just going like right out the back with it's her, but I just don't, like they're showing us the killer, but I don't think they would fully tell us the identity like straight away. That would be interesting though. Imagine if it was Kelly or like Karen. That would be crazy, but it didn't look like them in the picture. But like that would be crazy. We haven't seen them yet in the trailer either. We haven't seen Noah's boyfriend, and we haven't seen Karen. Yeah. No, Kelly? I think it's Kelly. But then also, Kelly's mum, the twins' mum, she stabbed the dad. Maybe she would do it to avenge her daughter. Because she maybe blames the girls. Yeah, I'm going to have to like piece together my season 2 like prediction, because I literally got it. Like I got it spot on. I tell you, like I remember people saying at the time, like on the Reddit forums and stuff, like how would we have ever guessed it was the principal? And I was like, babes, I did. Also, Pretty Little Liars Original Sin, I want a cameo in the next season, please. Also, please renew it for a 3rd season and a 5th season. I feel like 5 seasons would be like optimal. That would be so good. I would love 5 seasons. Anyway, I got sidetracked. What was I saying? Can't remember. Anyway, it looks banging. I'm loving the trailer so far. Whoa, was that Karen? Kelly? Whichever one, and her boyfriend, the one that's like, he's not Chad, I can't remember what his name is. Greg. It's all coming back to me, guys. It's all coming back to me. Was that Karen and Greg? What if Karen dies? Kelly, whichever one didn't die. What if they die? Interesting. I know that Greg doesn't die, at least not in the beginning, because he's a lifeguard with Farron. That would be crazy. But then, that kind of throws my Karen's mum theory out the window. Unless she always preferred Karen and blamed Kelly for her death. Interesting. And Sheriff Beasley didn't die yet, I'm pretty sure. Did he die? Oh no, I think maybe Archie went back in and finished him off. Did he? And then I know that Chip came back to film, the actor that played Chip came back to film for the finale. And I did say in my season 1 finale video, I was like, maybe Chip isn't dead, because they didn't actually show us his dead body, but that could also just be a flashback. So This is your birthday. Oh my god, and the A is written in red. The attention to detail, I love it. A final girl must escape any death trap you hide, I seek. This is so fun because obviously last series we had like the text and stuff, which was really fun and felt very like Pretty Little Liars. But this feels more like the more creative elements of A before, like obviously the dollhouse and the board game, and when Mona would send the dolls and things like that. I like that it's like, yeah, more physical things like the rose and this letter and like, oh, I love it. I love it. The self-defense class. Where's Jake? It looks so good. I love that it's like, yeah, like I said, proper like interaction between Bloody Rose and the girls. Love everything about it. 10 out of 10. I think I might even end up preferring this season to last season. And I loved last season, so that'll be really interesting. So I'm editing this video and I've come up with a couple more like predictions, like ideas, so I thought I would just include them at the end here, so that they're all kind of just in one place before I start actually making like videos and stuff about season 2. So the first one was, I was thinking back on Dr. Sullivan's time in Pretty Little Liars, and I was thinking, could she be involved like in a kind of villain kind of way? And then I was like, oh no, but she wouldn't do that because A threatened her. And then I remembered A didn't threaten her, A threatened her son. So it's canon. Dr. Sullivan has a son. Now, if Dr. Sullivan's son, let's say he's young enough to be like threatened by A, right? So maybe that puts him around like 8, 7, 8, 9, like that kind of age. Then say there's like a year or so between like season 2 and season 6. Then, so now he's like, 9, 10. Then we have a 4-year time jump. So he's like 9. Then we have a 5-year time jump, obviously between season 6 and the second half of season 6. So now he'd be like 14. Okay. Then we also have a year time jump at the very end of season 7. Stay with me. At the very end of season 7 to Ari and Ezra's wedding. So now he would be like 11 or 12. Yeah. No, wait, what did I say? I can't remember how I've worked it out. But basically, he could be about, because Original Sin is set 4 years after Pretty Little Liars finishes. So if he is like 12, 13 at the end of Pretty Little Liars, like the actual original one, then 4 years later, he would be the same age as our main protagonists, our new liars. So I think potentially Johnny, Bailey Madison, or Imogen's new love interest, could be Dr. Sullivan's son. Okay? Because I feel like he looks like he could be, but also if my timeline is correct, if her son was that young when we first hear about him in season 2, he would now be the same age as the girls in summer school. So I think potentially that's one of my theories, is that Johnny is actually Johnny Sullivan and is Anne's son. I don't know if I think that Dr. Sullivan is involved, because I think she's just supposed to be a guest star. I think she's only credited as the first episode. So I think she could potentially just be a fun cameo. But if she's not, and she is actually involved in all this, here's how I think it could work. When we saw Dr. Sullivan, she obviously had her own practice. She was then threatened by A and she left. Then she comes back. I think she mentions in season 5. Yeah, she comes back. I think she's like back in season 5 or something. Season 5 or is it season 3? I don't know. She comes back at some point, I think in one of the seasons after that, and is leading a support group at Radley. So we know that she's worked there before. Then she comes back again, I think in season 6, and she tells Hannah that she's reopening her practice. So we know that she was working in Rosewood again. At least up until the time jump, I suppose, and then we don't see her post time jump, but that doesn't mean she wasn't still in Rosewood. Or maybe she moved to Millwood. She could have done that in that time, right? So we know she obviously has a connection to Rosewood and also to Radley. So what if when Rose Waters, because remember she was in Radley, what if she had Dr. Sullivan as her like therapist, psychiatrist, and they kind of formed a bit of a bond, and now like she's, I don't know, like avenging her family or like something, or she's like in cahoots with this Rose Waters or something, maybe. I think that would be so crazy. Like that she obviously had Mona as a patient, so she was like so deep into this A thing. Like she's like the first person that really finds out who A is, and then from that to like working at Radley, and then if maybe she just became obsessed with it, and then when she heard about A coming back, like the person that threatened her and threatened her son, she moved to Millwood as like a I need to find out what this is all about kind of situation. And because she already knew Rose, then she obviously would have known about Archie and all this stuff. So potentially, but she could also just be a guest star. So we'll see where that goes. I do still think that Mrs. Beasley is a contender for the killer. I think maybe because I think she seems a little bit older than the other mums, because obviously all the mums knew like Angela Waters, and obviously so did Mr. Beasley, so it makes sense that she would have been around at that time as well and also knew Angela. So maybe she was in their year, or she was a couple like years above them or something. So maybe they were friends, or she was like her baby, like something like that. I think could create a connection between Mrs. Beasley and the Waters family. But also, I did say I think earlier in this video that potentially she's trying to avenge like Karen's death. Like maybe she, I don't know, like blames the girls for it or something, and I don't know. So she's also a contender in my mind. Now, Kelly, I have 2 theories about her, and one I think would be so good if they did it. So I really hope that they do. But I have 2. Firstly, I think she's probably going to die. I feel like we didn't really see any of her in the trailer, like barely. So I think maybe she doesn't make it until the end of the season. And I'd said before in this video that I think it would be interesting if they killed off like a proper main character, because that's something Pretty Little Liars never did. And I think them killing off Kelly is kind of the equivalent to when they killed off Mona, but if Mona had actually stayed dead, right? Because she's the closest thing to a main character outside of our core 4. So I think them killing her could be a big possibility and would also make the show like properly high stakes, you know? So there's that. I feel like this theory I think I have done something. You know that like meme where it's like the pen with the fire coming out of it? I think I'm doing that right now with this Kelly theory, okay? So, what if Kelly is Bloody Rose? Or is like working with Bloody Rose? There might be 2, because usually in these like horror things, obviously we have like the A-Team and stuff, but I think just horror specifically, we usually get like 2 killers. And we know that Original Sin draws a lot of inspiration from existing horror films, particularly like ones like Halloween and Scream. And Scream is a classic example of double killer. Like they usually always have 2 killers working together. And we had that last season with obviously like the principal and then Archie. So I think potentially we could see that again. We could have two killers again. Again, more of like a, I don't know if it'll be like a mastermind and a like proper killer like it was last season, or if they'll go more down the Scream route where it's like both of them are killers and they just kind of like help each other out and like, you know, whatever. So I think that could potentially be the case. So we could potentially have like Mrs. Beasley and Kelly as killers, like together. That would be insane. But carrying on with that, right? If Kelly is one of the Bloody Rose killers or just Bloody Rose, I think she could potentially do a Scream kind of vibe and fake her death. So Roman in Scream 3, he fakes his death. Billy in Scream 1 also fakes his death. And I think maybe in Scream 7, Richie also fakes his death? Maybe. So I think maybe we could have that. Like Kelly fakes her death, and because she's dead, no one obviously suspects her of being Bloody Rose. And I think, okay, this is what I think would be so insane. I think maybe she is actually Karen and has been Karen this whole time. Because in literally from the first episode of the first season, I was convinced that she was actually still Karen. I was convinced that they had swapped and Karen was pretending to be Kelly. But then Farron in the show also thinks that, and like they go through this whole theory. So I think the writers really wanted to plant those seeds and make us think that Karen was Kelly. But then, you know, Farron confronts her and all this stuff, and they make it really seem like no, she actually is Kelly, and they forget about that whole theory. Like it's not brought up again after that. And I think that could be to make the audience feel that same way. Make us think that Karen was Kelly, but then prove that Kelly is actually Kelly and just completely throw us off that trail and make us not think about it again, to then only reveal in season 2 that she was actually Karen the whole time. Like, tell me that doesn't eat. Tell me that does not eat. Pretty Little Lies, like, get me on the right stuff, because that eats. And I feel like that would be crazy if it was revealed that Mrs. Beasley and Kelly is actually Karen and those two are the killers. I don't really know why. Maybe to avenge the other twins' death, or I haven't worked out the logistics on the motive, but I think that would be so crazy for her to be revealed to actually be Karen and have been Karen and the evil twin the whole time, and for her to also be Bloody Rose. I think that eats. And like, yeah, fake her death as, you know, Kelly, and to kind of draw suspicion away from her, and then it's revealed at the end she's alive, and not only is she Bloody Rose, but she's also Karen. Tell me what you think about that, because I feel like I may have done something there. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like this theory would be so good because if you've read the books, you know that there is Allison and there is Courtney, and there is a whole twin twist in the original book series that I think was a 10 out of 10 storyline, and I think the writers really missed out by not including that as the reveal in the original show. And I think to then take that reveal and use it in Original Sin would be amazing, because I think the story of it is really good, and we literally have Kelly and Karen, who I think would be the perfect stand-in for Allison and Courtney. This is another completely random theory, and I don't know why I think this, but it just came to me, and it's also to do with Kelly. So I mentioned that I find Farron's boyfriend boring, and I was editing this video and I was like, yeah, like he is boring, like he doesn't really bring anything to this show. And I was trying to remember the scenes with him in, and one of the scenes I remembered was that he was actually defending Kelly. Like when Farron was kind of going after her a little bit, he would kind of come to her defense quite a bit. And I think we're gonna see Farron's boyfriend, I literally can't remember his name, that's so bad. I think we're going to see Farron's boyfriend cheat on her with Kelly. okay? Because he seemed to have a bit of a soft spot for her. They obviously both like do dance and stuff, and they won't be in summer school, I assume. Like, Kelly is not mentioned as going to summer school, so I think maybe they'll be out of summer school together, and I think they will hook up. And I think them hooking up could lead to either of their deaths, because that's another classic like horror trope, is that if you have sex, you're probably gonna get killed. So I think they will hook up, obviously cheating on Farron, and maybe it'll be a one-time thing, or it'll be something that is like continues to go on. And we saw a clip of Farron next to this like trap thing, and you could see an arm. I think her boy, is it Henry? Maybe it's Henry. I think her boyfriend is in that trap. Okay, I think her boyfriend is in that trap, and she'll have to try and save him from it. But I think she will be torn about saving him, because she will have found out that he has cheated on her with Kelly. So then he's in this like life or death situation, and she has to put aside how she feels about his betrayal to actually save him from this machine, because it seems like there's a bit of a more creative element to this like we've got the note and it's kind of like tasks and things. So I think they're going to be tested almost like in a kind of like saw, like jigsaw way. And so they had the opportunity obviously last series to kill the people that had wronged them, and I think maybe something like that could come up again. So Farron will see Henry in this machine, and she'll have to save him despite hating him for cheating on her with Kelly. I hope that made sense. I feel like that was like really convoluted. Also think that Sean could bite the dust. I could not remember his name for the life of me when I was filming this video, but Noah's boyfriend Sean, I think he could bite the dust. And potentially, because we did not see him in the trailer, like hardly saw him in the trailer. Noah also has this new love interest, and initially I thought maybe she was going to kind of step out on Sean with this new love interest, but maybe Sean dies, like is killed, and Noah's grief kind of like makes her lean into this new love interest more. So that's another theory that I had. In terms of like deaths, I think, yeah, Sean, I think Kelly, if she doesn't turn out to be the killer, or maybe even so, like she'll fake her death, or she'll end up dying in the end. Maybe one of the other mums. I'm not sure though, because like I feel like the mum's really connected to Angela, and this seems to kind of like step away from that. I feel like it'll be like other like extra characters that I don't even remember, probably like friends of them that I can't remember now. Like maybe Greg. I think potentially, I've just thought this just now, if my theory about Kelly cheating with Henry is true, we could potentially see a romance spark between Greg and Farron. Because I feel like Greg's kind of on his like redemption arc from last season, so that could potentially happen if he doesn't die. But I don't know, I don't think that he will. In terms of cameos though, I feel like Lucy Hale, she's really like, she kind of like drops little hints, but I'm not fully convinced. But obviously I would love that because Ari is my favourite liar. I feel like Jenna could also be a good contender for a cameo, because like her actress has just started this new like Pretty Little Liars podcast and things, so I feel like if they've reached out to her, she would probably say yes. Outside of that, I think more side characters are definitely possible. Like obviously we had Eddie Lamb last season, so I think maybe some people who are kind of on that similar level. I think maybe like Grunwald would be a great one, because she was also in Ravenswood. And I think just like her whole spooky vibe would be kind of fun in the original Sin setting. Also potentially like Lydia Tanner, like Detective Tanner, could be interesting. If A was mentioned in her police record, then bringing her in for the new A would also really make sense. In that similar kind of vein, I guess maybe like Barry Maple. Maybe as like a little cameo, or Holbrook. I don't know if Holbrook's still a police officer. He might have been like let go, but he would be interesting to see again. Maybe like Holden or someone like random like that. Because I think he does like catering or something. So like I feel like he could be a fun kind of cameo. I don't really know about anyone else. Let me know in the comments your cameo theories and who you think is gonna die, and what you think of my Karen theory, because I feel like that could be good. Like Karen and Kelly basically being Alison and Courtney, but also being like the killer. I feel like it's good. Oh wait, did I say about Dr. Sullivan? I think a Dr. Sullivan could either just be a guest star, but I also think she could potentially die, which would be crazy, or she might be part of it. I feel like there's so many routes they could go down with her. I kind of hope she doesn't die though, because that would be sad. But I do think Johnny's her son. I'll be doing the same thing I did with the last series, where I'll be doing, I don't know if it'll be every episode or like I said, in groups of 2. The first one will definitely be, because like I said, 2 episodes. We're getting 2 episodes on May 9th, so I will do a video talking about both of those, like in depth, and what I thought and my predictions for the next episodes. And then I might group like 3 and 4, 5 and 6, maybe, see how I feel. But yeah, so I will be doing those videos again, where we kind of go through it each week, which is really fun. I'm really excited to start doing that again. And yes, hopefully there will be a like Original Sin recap. If I say it in a video, that hopefully will hold me accountable and will actually make me do it. So there's that. But yes, let me know in the comments your predictions for this season. Who, like, which girl are you most excited about? What if we lose a final girl? Like, that would be crazy though, because who would they kill off? But that would be wild, because that's the one thing Pretty Little Lies never did. Like, even Mona, like, she came back from the dead. Ali came back from the dead. They never killed off anyone aside from, I guess, Maya. That was like probably the most prominent death, I'd say. But everyone else is kind of like a villain or like main cast adjacent, whereas you kind of always knew no matter what happened, the kind of core girls were going to be fine and they were going to make it to the end. But they could totally flip the script and kill one of the main girls, and that would be insane. But also I kind of hope they don't do that, because I love all of them and I want them all to stay. But yeah, I don't know. But yes, let me know down in the comments who you're most excited for. What storylines are you most excited for? What do you think? What did you think of the trailer? Just everything. I want to discuss everything. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Okay, if you stayed until the very end of this video, I have a super exciting Pretty Little Liars project that I'm working on. If you want to leave your guesses in the comments. I've also put up a community tab post with like a little hint. But yeah, I'm so excited about it, and I think you guys are gonna love it, and I just want to make it as absolutely perfect as I can make it for you guys. So yeah, if you stay to the end of this video,